Are you lacking inspiration or need a bit more creativity? Well, what essential oil would help with that? Me and Liz have been talking about this, and today, Liz, I believe you think Neroli would be really great if you need to boost your inspiration in your life, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I am absolutely advocating that everybody get themselves a bottle of Neroli essential oil or orange flower water because quite often in my work, because I have kind of two heads all of the time, I have a really scientific set of work going on, where we're talking about receptors and chemical constituents. But if somebody reads my work, they don't want it to sound like a science journal. They want to be able to see the flowers and the bees and the moon and the stars. And sometimes that's really hard to do. So, quite often, I will write it in sort of two or three different drafts. I'll write the science first to get the facts right. And then I'll get Neroli or sometimes lemon out and I'll go, right, okay, open up the skies for me. And then we start to have this beautiful kind of, it seems to have this breeze of beautiful Zephyr words come through, And if I think I have to say, I'm not somebody that suffers from writer's block. If anything, I write way too much and then have to edit down. But if somebody were to have that situation of sitting down at a piece of work for university or for school and going, I just don't know what to write, I would say this is absolutely antidote to that. It's so good at kind of, first of all, reducing the anxiety. The chemistry really touches on the parts of the brain that are going, I can't do this, I can't do this. And also switches down the pain of, this is really painful. I'm really finding this a struggle because I do go to that place sometimes. But the chemistry actually switches the brain down to go shh, and opens up like I think like the left hand side of the brain of going, right then, let's describe. I love it for that. Have you ever worked with it that way?
Yeah, I would love to get a bit of clarification in what you were saying there. So you've kind of got all the logical stuff done, and then you need that beautiful part of it. Do you sit at your desk and just inhale it, or would you step away from your work and maybe stand outside and inhale it? What do you think for someone else who's like, oh, I could use for it for that creative block? What would you recommend?
Well, yeah, that's a really good question. And I think probably my process may not serve many people because my process is always to go, right, I've written one draft, I'll come back to the second draft the next day because yeah, we're being distracted by lovely cat bums in the background.
In my background,
I don't.
yes.
It's not very easy to kind of switch hats if you know what I mean. So what I will tend to do is at the end of the day when I've finished work and I'm just sort of settling down, then I'll do some inhalation with neroli. Of course, I'll have some in the bath. And then I'll tell my brain, right, we're waking up with a different hat on tomorrow. This is what I want. And sometimes I'll be saying to the bees, this is what I want to know. This is what I want to help to describe. Sometimes I will be calling on a plant spirit and saying, I'm really struggling to articulate this. So my process would be do the logical stuff, switch the brain off with neroli, go in the bath, prime the brain, get up the next morning. But I think anybody who's trying to do like an essay and what have you, I think it works really well to just say, right, okay, I'm just going to take some time. I'm just going to sit with the oil and I'm just going to breathe for maybe 5 minutes. Give myself, my brain, a chance to just go, okay, I'm not so under pressure as I was. And then from a writer's point of view, I would just say, don't worry that you haven't got the beginning of the piece of work. Just start writing and see what comes. Doesn't matter where you start in it, just write. My books are often stuck together that have happened on different days. And so maybe that's an early thing, perhaps, that you just kind of grasp that bit of beauty, that flow, and it goes. And then you have to catch another orange blossom as it comes by. But I would say that time of just priming the brain. If you think, right, okay, I'm just going to stop worrying about this. I'm just going to sit and inhale for a good 5 minutes. I think that would work really well.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you talk about, knitting inspiration and feeling stuck in one gear. I remember reading once about a study where they diffused neroli in one room and nothing in another, or just water in another. And the group they were both given lateral thinking, so thinking outside the square task, and the neroli group were able to perform better. Now, in other videos where we've had discussions about neroli as well, I've also talked about this idea of neroli being about enticement and nymphs using the scent of orange blossom or neroli to beckon young men and women out of their bedchamber at night. Cleopatra using it with Mark Antony. Ladies of the night using it to seduce clients. It being scattered on newlyweds' beds. It kind of helps us to come out of where we are and go to somewhere else. And I think, when we look at the chemistry, that it is higher in linalool than even lavender. So sometimes when we get so irritated when we don't have inspiration, when we feel stuck in a rut, that sometimes we do. We need to relax. We need to take a break. We need to sleep on it. There's amazing, our brain gets cleaned out overnight and we can think a lot more clearly and a lot more rationally in the morning. So I think Neroli is absolutely, if we look at it from a practical point of view, all the way through to a magical point of view, is a really great option to helping you shift gears and find a direction to go, whether it be inspiration for writing an essay or just trying to find an answer of like, what should I do in this aspect of my life?
I think I agree with that entirely. I think that there are situations though where if I was trying to think things out logically, I would use oils that were more cephalic. This is to me, this would be less like concentration and focus. This is kind of open the flow. And yeah, I absolutely
Yeah,
what you said
correct.
about Cleopatra. It's almost like opening the dreamscape, That's what she was doing. She was creating trickery to Mark Antony. They were creating a political dream, That's kind of happening in this country at the moment. And Andy Burnham's trying to create this political dream of that everybody has hope once again, And they used scent to do it. And as you quite rightly say, I wouldn't have thought of that, but it's a really clever sort of reference. That's what they were doing. They were saying, dream with me. And Neroli is very good with dream with me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Neroli is a beautiful one to dream for inspiration and help us just to move on with wherever we are in life. So remember, if you want to learn more about Neroli, we've done other more in-depth conversations about Neroli as well. Check out those videos because that will take you through everything from how you can use it for the body and all the way through to the spiritual and the magical as well. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Take care and blessed be.
Bye bye.